hello to all you folks at John Knox. Again, I'm Ron Clement, and this is one of our monthly resident council presentations. As you know, we can't have our usual meetings, but we can get together and have a speaker or have a discussion. And today I'm pleased to say that for my speaker, and we're going to have kind of a discussion, my speaker is Stephanie Zeilstra, who is a specialist in marketing and communication, and she is going to talk about the e-blast and the jkvlife.org, and of course the Village Voice, which everybody here watching probably knows. And she's going to tell us basically how they manage those operations and kind of what's happened maybe with COVID-19. And so first of all, let me start off by asking Stephanie, tell me about your background at John Knox, when you arrived, so forth.
Yes. I've been at John Knox Village 13 years, going on 13 years. My background previous to this is actually, my degree's in journalism, so I worked in newspaper, community newspaper for several years right out of college. And then I had developed a love for older adults. And so for about 5 years, I worked at an assisted living community doing activities. And so coming to the village really combined best of both worlds for me. So it's been a lot of fun. I started out actually working with the health services group, doing their marketing and advertising and getting any materials they needed. And I did that for several years, about half the time I've been here actually. So yeah, and then about 6 years ago, I moved to doing The Voice, being the editor of The Voice, and kind of being in charge of resident communications, all the resident communications. Okay,
so you got some good experience there, and a lot of good stuff at John Knox. Yeah. Who are the other folks in your department?
Yes.
What do the different people handle?
Sure. So we'll start with Steve Clark. You guys know him well by now, doing all the behind.
I'm right here. Say hello. That's enough.
Steve Clark is our graphic designer, but all around kind of tech guy, and he designs everything. We say make everything look pretty. He does that, but he's also a photographer. He's really done he's done all of our video this past year. So I think he's had fun doing that.
A lot of good stuff.
Yes, it's been great. It's been great. We have Cheryl Leppert, who we have all actually. She was here a few years before me. Steve was here a few years before me as well. So we've all worked together for 13 years now.
Okay, well, good.
But Cheryl Leppert, she handles our health services department, but she also works with operations. Cheryl's been kind of the COVID contact person. She's been the one to work directly with those health services managers to get communication out. So she's done that. And then we have Emily Banyas. She used to be the editor of The Voice, but now she works with HR, actually, is her main role, is to work with HR for anything that they need. And she also works with the foundation. A big part of her job is working with the foundation directly. So we've split up the different areas of the village, and we each have areas that we work with. And then our manager is Karen Burrick, and she handles kind of the corporate JKV marketing. Overall marketing, and she's who we report to. So, and she's been here for I think about 15 years. So we've all been here a good amount of time. So it's fun to have that rapport and have that experience together.
You've clearly got a good group because things just run so well, and the interaction with the campus community just is so open, and there's so much good stuff that you folks put out.
Oh, so, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to e-blast, and of course, wonderful source of information.
Yes.
When did it start, and what led to its start?
Yes. So we started the daily e-blast in 6 years ago. 6 years ago, in the Life Enrichment Department, Kelly's group is actually the one that started doing it. And they did it as a need to communicate quickly with residents as residents were starting to use the internet and email more and more. They started, and really in the beginning it was just a list of their activities that was going on. Just life enrichment activities that was going on. And then as time went on, about a year later, so about 5 years, things kind of changed. I took it over because we saw the need to add more to it, and it really became something that should come out of our department. And so we took it over about 5 years ago. And you're right, the e-blast really is a huge tool that we have now, and it's really a great way to get information out quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And to a lot of residents, especially with COVID this past year, it has become a vital communication tool. Really.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And now we have about 900 subscribers to eBlast.
Oh, good.
Yep, and that includes residents, associates, and family members. Really, this past year, we saw a lot of family members come on board to get eBlast and request to get eBlast. Either just because they wanted to stay informed, or their family member didn't have email, or aren't comfortable using the internet. So it's been a great way to stay in touch.
Great, yeah, and I was, it was just, a year or two ago, I've been neighborhood representative for Hope Lane when we had like 13 or 14 people. And I was surprised to discover how many of those people, I think all but two,
Yes.
had smartphones and eBlast.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
It's picked up a lot
Yeah.
over this past year.
And I came on kind of late, 4 years ago, but not right away.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard of it, I thought, what the heck is the eBlast?
Yeah.
Now what?
Yes. But yeah.
Okay, let's see. How did you folks decide what to cover in the eBlast? Did that grow over time, or did you have a pretty good idea from the word go?
It has grown over
Okay.
time, and then we added fitness center activities, and then we added the dining menus to
Yeah.
it, and now we really use it for that. But really, it's much more than that.
Yeah.
It gives us the ability to put out any announcements
Yeah.
that we have, and really, as far as overall information, we really are pretty particular as long as it relates to the campus, what's going on campus, or something pertinent to residents.
Yeah.
Information. Because we do have some businesses and organizations that want us, of course, to get information out to residents, but we take that as a case-by-case basis, just so we know what we're sending out to residents. We're pretty particular with all of our communication tools on.
Yeah, you have to be, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I guess it's a good idea. I guess it kind of follows a similar format every day.
It does.
So,
Yep.
yeah, people know what to expect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People know what to expect.
That's
Yep.
good, yep.
Yeah.
Let's see, you've already answered my third question about who sends you information.
Well, I can talk. I can
go ahead.
I can share more about that. Really, I get information from all over the village.
Okay.
Every department sends, because in charge of eBlast, I get on their email list and, can you let residents know about this? And so that's how that happens. But so I work directly with the Life Enrichment Department. I also work, that means chaplains, and that means salons. I also work with the fitness centers. I work with the auxiliary. All those departments are my area that I work with, and so that kind of helps with the eBlast. But like I said earlier, we all have departments that we work with, and so us three, we really communicate within ourselves.
Okay.
As far as planning and communicating what needs to be sent out and what they have to go out to let residents know about what's going on.
Is your day sort of a barrage of telephone calls and emails?
It can be. It can be. I've said that to Carrie. You never know.
Okay.
What you're going to have to send out. It varies every day, and that makes it fun.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it fun.
Yeah,
and I also actually work with resident groups, which is for me a fun part, because
Good.
I work with the Hobby Hut. I work with the golf leagues. Let's see, and the Garden Association. So all those residents in those groups give me a call when they have something they want to communicate, and I get to go. We get to go take photos and coordinate all of that, and so that's a fun part of me. For me, I've gotten to know a lot of residents that way.
Yeah, I think my first interaction with you folks was either golf or community theater, where you came to take photos.
Yeah, and I work with community theater, and that's with your wife. That's a lot of fun
Yep.
to go take pictures of that.
And we've enjoyed having you folks there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to Village Voice.
Yes.
Okay, and this, I guess this goes back. Of course, it was preceded by something else. I forget what it's called now.
Right.
Way back.
Pioneer.
Pioneer. That's it.
Pioneer,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
Yep. The Pioneer started in 1971, so really we've had a resident publication since the beginning of the village.
Yeah.
1971, and it started out as a weekly newspaper, and it was run by residents. So I just find that really interesting.
Yeah.
And it stayed that format for a really long time as the Pioneer. And with it being the village's 50th anniversary this past year, we've kind of gotten to be able to go back and look at all the pioneers and kind of get timelines of when things were built and
Oh, yeah.
when communities, so it's been really fun to see how the village has grown through that time. But really you see from the beginning how our mission has been the same with resident communication. It's always about being transparent. It's always about creating community, letting residents know what's available at the village, and all those things. So it's been fun. In 2005 is when it became the Village Voice.
Okay.
And that was actually spearheaded
Okay.
by resident Hayes Walker. He had a background in newspaper publishing, so he kind of helped guide us to, or kind of led us to what we have now, a 4-color magazine.
Yeah.
And that's just been since 2005.
Okay, okay.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I suppose it's maybe, I don't know, maybe the best known or most used source of information on campus. Everybody knows what the Village Voice is.
It is,
Yeah.
it is, yeah. And we take that pretty seriously. We want to make sure information's in there accurately, and we know that it's important for the residents.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, when did the mid-month voice begin?
Yes, the mid-month began in 2008, is what it is now, and it really hasn't changed in format since then.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting, and when we were looking back, the neighborhood news is the most, different part of what sets the
Yeah.
mid-month apart from the voice, and the mid-month kind of in that form has been there since the beginning.
Okay.
You look back and you see how neighborhoods were built, and then they would start submitting news, and that was included in the Village Voice, in the Pioneer, and then the early Voice for years.
Okay.
So that's what's different about the mid-month.
Okay.
And the mid-month gives us the opportunity to add any activities that have been scheduled, make those, and provide additional information and articles for residents that maybe we weren't able to get into the Voice.
Okay. Now, are the mid-month and the regular Village Voice, are they always the same number of pages? It just seems interesting to me that they seem to be.
Yes,
Okay.
the mid-month definitely.
Okay.
It stays the same number of pages. The Voice is typically 16 or 20 pages.
All right.
And a lot of that actually depends on advertising.
Okay.
And what's happening. We have a
Sure.
budget to stay within, so
Okay.
yeah.
But
it's
there's
typically-
a certain amount of editing to get things to fit, and yeah.
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
editor of a business magazine back at Murray State University for 6 years, so I have some idea what you go through trying to make something fit.
And Steve's the guru of making things fit.
Okay.
And I'm the one that has to cut articles and plan, what's prioritized, what articles go in, and those
Okay.
kinds of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good. Okay, jkvlife.org.
Yes.
Okay? When did that first start?
Yes, that started in 2006 is when we started using the company Touchtown for our TV and for a resident website. We've had an internal TV for residents and associates for many years before that, but in 2006 is when we started using Touchtown.
Okay.
And so that the company we get to use both for the TV and for the website. It's the same company, and so it works well together, and it gives
Okay.
us,
Good.
an opportunity.
And it's, if I'm not mistaken, it was extensively expanded a couple of years ago.
Yes.
I mean, if you go to that site, it's just incredible what's on there.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. 2016 is when it upgraded.
Okay.
And that was a big process. And that was actually due to Touchtown making improvements. And so that allowed us to make improvements to what it is today with the icons that you can just click on.
Yep.
It makes it so much user-friendly. And with that, we have the app. So you can have the app on your phone or your tablet, those kinds of things. So it really gives residents an easy access to
That's terrific. Yeah.
information. Yeah, it's a really great tool we were able to.
And I would encourage residents, if you haven't done it, go online to jkvlife.org and just take a look and click on maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, and you'll be amazed at what's on there.
Yes.
It's just really neat.
A lot of information.
And of course,
Yeah.
the most important thing is the resident council. So,
Yes.
okay, let's see. Now, how do you know on jkvlife.org which topics are of greatest interest to residents?
We can actually run a report, and it shows us what are the most clicked pages that go. That
Oh,
go-
okay,
that go
yes,
to.
yes, okay.
Dining is the two biggest,
Okay.
the menus and the specials.
Okay.
So those are the two most clicked, but the resident directory is the third most
That
used.
makes sense, yeah.
The most used part of the website. And I will say about the resident directory, you have a profile on there. I know a lot of residents haven't done this, but on your profile you can add a photo.
Yep.
And you can put your hobbies, your interests, your background, education, you know, what your career was in. And so you can really add a lot to it. And it's kind of neat because it's searchable. So if you're like a new resident and you want to find somebody that does painting, for example, or gardening or bowling, you know, any of those things, you can search for that and see if somebody's put that as their hobby.
Yep.
And you can contact them,
Just
you know,
great.
give them a call and say, I see you're interested in this and I am too, and
Yep.
you know, what's available here, or how does it work, kind of thing. So it really is
That's neat.
a great tool.
The, shoot, forgot my question. Follow. It'll come back to me. Let's see. Oh, on the resident directory.
Yes,
You can update your profile yourself just by going
absolutely.
online. If you want to add a photo,
Yes,
same thing?
yes.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay. So
And
we don't
it'll-
have to send anything to you.
Nope, you don't have
All
to
right.
send any, that's all through you. Yep.
Okay,
The
okay.
individual resident.
So 3 really good communication sources for residents. Is there anything else you want to say about them, or anything else?
With JKV Life, there was, I really can't think of anything.
Okay, okay.
With JKV Life, I also want to mention not only the directory, but you can do work orders on there. That's another popular section.
Oh,
and
yes,
Yeah, work orders, a lot of residents, that's I think the top 6 page.
yeah.
Is the work order. So it's
So
real
instead of
simple.
calling, you can send in a work order on JKV
On
Life?
JKV
Okay,
Life.
that's great.
Yep, you just click that.
Cool.
And I do want to mention the marketplace. It kind of gets left behind a little bit, or it's, I think, a resource that residents maybe don't know about. Marketplace used to be in mid-month. And so we took that out of the mid-month, one for space, so that we could put more information there. And we just thought it was time to put it online.
Okay.
And so that's a tool that if you have something to sell, or if you're looking for something to buy, you can go on there and check that out. And it does change every so often, so you can just call me and I will get it added on there.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for,
All right.
for discussing all this with me, and I know a lot of, probably most residents were really glad to hear this information and know
Yeah.
it's out there, because some of us didn't.
Yes.
And, yeah, so thank you very much.
All right.
Next month, little bit unusual. I am planning to present about the resident council, its purpose, how it's organized, what we do. This was done for the last time about 5 years ago by June Dewsbury, and you folks, a lot of you remember how wonderful June was, and we all miss her a great deal. Terrific person. But it's time to maybe do that again, and I will do that. And that also gives me a little flexibility, because with the COVID-19 still going and the vaccine just out, if we need to bump me back a month, then Maria Timberlake or somebody can speak about COVID-19. So we've got some flexibility. Right now I'm planning on presenting the resident council. Thanks very much.